Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
who destroyed their own career within seconds by being an idiot. One of the managers I worked with, he was visiting a company site in another country. He went to a strip club and then onto a private room for a lap dance, whatever, etc. Because he was traveling on work business, he of course claimed these costs on a company expense claim. We never saw him again. Used to work for Chase in their fraud department. I had at least one of these a week. Strip clubs are used to this, they almost all get your ID and signature on file. Can't claim fraud when I've got your government ID right here, dude. Former stripper here. They do this when you start charging a lot to a card because men will get next day regret and try to charge back. General rule of thumb is to get them to simply take cash out of the ATM. If they insist on card, you have to get their ID. This is shit your boss insists on when you strip. The people on the Coldplay Kiss cam. The crazy thing is the dumbest thing they did was how they reacted, as many have said. If they had just waved and played it off, it never would have gone viral. Maybe someone in the crowd would have recognized them, but they would have had a better chance. I said the exact same thing. These people are so full of themselves they think they are known to the world. Panicking would only then make you known. And they panicked. Just the funniest shit. I love the lead singer just piecing it together right on the spot, which made it even funnier and more damning as a clip. One of the girls in the customer support team at a previous company got absolutely blotto at the Christmas party, did a full strip show on a tabletop in front of all staff and their partners. Got right down to the skin before anyone could yank her down. We came to work the following Monday and her desk was just gone. Not just personal items packed up in a box, but the entire desk had been dismantled and taken out of the CS area. Apparently the CS manager was so furious about the situation that he wanted to send a message that she wasn't just fired, but was to be totally erased from company existence. Super fired. Fired with extreme prejudice. Salted the carpet where the desk was. The white lady who called the cops on a black man who was bird watching in a public park and asked her to put her dog on a leash. When she called the police, she was screaming about a black man trying to get me, and he was this nerdy looking guy who watches birds. She had a very lucrative job at Franklin Templeton Investments. She was fired. The guy, Christian Cooper, accused by her, later got a job as host of a bird watching on Nat Geo, Extraordinary Birder. In 2024 he won an Emmy for his show. That's honestly the best conclusion I've read in this thread so far. Slobodan Jankovic, basketball ball player who in a fit of temper during a game, following a referee's decision, smashed his head against a concrete pillar for the backboard and paralyzed himself in seconds. The video is hard to watch. A moment's rage and a lifetime's regret. Damn, I have no need to watch that video, your description was graphic enough. It is wild how equally resilient and fragile our bodies are. This is what I was thinking of. Seeing him collapse, not able to move but obviously freaking out, is so disturbing. Them carrying him away is scary, too. Apparently they harmed him further by moving him so quickly. The pillar was poorly disguised in blue padding, so it wasn't like he was YOLOing on a grey pillar of certain death. The FBI agent that did the backflip in a bar, dropped his gun, grabbed it, negligent discharge, someone was hit but lived, arrested, prosecuted and terminated. Lived, arrested, prosecuted and terminated. Honey, clear the kitchen wall. The new Live Laugh Love just dropped. Damn, they fucking executed him over that. Question mark. Rolling on the floor laughing, terminate from his job. Not executed, rolling on the floor laughing. He's still alive as far as I know. I was a second-year professor in physics when I flunked the starting center from the university basketball team even after a meeting with the athletic director, the dean, my department head and the university president. I stuck to my guns. They laid me off 4 months later. I had to become a programmer. Edit, he was taking intro to astronomy. Speaking as a professor, I'm imagining this benefited your finances and joy in life in the end. No. It was an adjustment, but yeah, I rolled with the punches. I do like money. Why on earth was a scholarship athlete taking physics? Sounds like a recipe for disaster. He took intro to astronomy. It was a 4-hour survey course for completing the science general ed requirement. Better yet, why wasn't the coach on top of his students' grades? Universities have so many avenues to improve your grades, like tutors. They fired the professor for upholding standards instead of holding the student and everyone in charge of the student accountable. That woman who tweeted that she was flying to Africa and she hoped she didn't get AIDS. She turned off her phone and when she landed, she saw that her life exploded. Justine Sacco. In December 2013, Justine Sacco, a woman with 170 Twitter followers, tweeted acerbic jokes during a plane trip from New York to Cape Town, such as, "Weird German dude, you're in first class. It's 2014. Get some deodorant." Inner monologue as I inhale bow. Thank God for pharmaceuticals. And, in Heathrow, going to Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding. I'm white. Sacco, a South African herself, claimed that she intended the tweet to mock American ignorance of South Africa, and in a later interview expressed that her intention was to mimic and mock what an actual racist, ignorant person would say. Sacco slept during her 11-hour plane trip and woke up to find out that she had lost her job and was the #1 Twitter topic worldwide, with celebrities and new media bloggers all over the globe denouncing her and encouraging all their followers to do the same. Sacco's employer, New York internet firm Greater Than IAC, declared that she had lost her job as director of corporate communications. People began tweeting, "Has Justine landed yet?" expressing schadenfreude at the loss of her career. Sam Biddle, the Gawker media blogger who promoted the hashtag "Has Justine landed yet" hashtag, later apologized for his role, admitting that he did so for internet traffic to his blog, and noting that it's easy and thrilling to hate a stranger online. Quote, "Director of corporate communications was the funniest part. I fucking hated this so much. Not because what she said wasn't offensive. It was. But because the people who spread it and eagerly waited for her to get off the plane and emerge to her life in tatters were not offended. I'd wager the vast majority have said as bad or worse jokes many times in life. They were feeding on the drama and given an excuse to attack someone. Loving the fact that they were part of destroying this person's life and very loving the fact it was happening while she didn't know. It was truly disgusting, and apparently people doxed, hounded her for years, destroyed her mental health, and just completely ruined her life. Again, these were almost certainly not people offended by what she said. Just people happy for the excuse. Not defending what she said or saying some repercussions aren't warranted. But all those people pretending they never made some dark, offensive joke to friends salivating over ruining her life for something they didn't care about was just sick. This kid I worked with for a week at a sales job who tried to buy drugs off of a customer because, and I quote, "I don't know. They looked like they might have drugs. They did not have drugs, but they did have the number to corporate." Knew a newly graduated nurse that on her first day, her fellow graduate nurse was fired on his first day because he was asking the seniors to sell him their painkillers. Also, one of her friends told me there were rumors that she was giving hand jobs to seniors for cash for a period of time. No proof on that one though, and nothing ever came out of it. Nothing ever came out of it. Doesn't sound like very good hand jobs either then. That lady who got a job at NASA and tweeted at the National Space Council overseer to kiss her ass. It was actually, "Suck my dick and balls, haha." From what I remember, the NSC overseer didn't want her to lose the opportunity to work at NASA, but it was out of his hands when it went viral. Yep, his responses seem like snark and flexing, but at least according to him, they were a genuine attempt to prevent her from risking her internship and an explanation for why he would be qualified to inform her on that. Dude was like 70+ years old, so clueless old people tweeting is pretty believable to me. Naomi, the intern involved, later went on a podcast and explained the whole thing, and stated that the reason she was fired was that she tried to lie about and continued trying to lie her way through it. NASA does like to keep their staff in proper decorum, but lying at any point is a gigantic no-no. Mistakes happen to everybody, but covering up your mistakes gets people killed. IRC, even astronauts are held to this standard. NASA will be upset about but likely ultimately forgive, deal with substance usage, health issues, personal problems, etc. But if they find out you lied about any of it, you're permanently grounded if not ejected from the program. That executive at Campbell's for saying that their food is for poor people while someone was recording. Originally it was. Campbell's used to sell its soups in 30-ounce cans. But only rich people could afford it. When the Depression hit, they moved to 10-ounce cans that poor PPL could afford. Simply add water and they get the same soup rich PPL bought. Missouri Congress candidate Todd Akin using the term legitimate rape around 2012 on the campaign trail. It basically smoked his entire political career in about 2 seconds. Voters have a way of shutting that down. I got that reference. I just can't believe an adult said that with such dismissive confidence. Back when it was bad to say horrible things. For real, half the country wouldn't bat an eye now. Was that the one who had some sort of comment about how the woman's body would shut down if it's a legitimate rape? Yes, he was trying to say that pregnancy wasn't possible if it's a real rape. He could have been elected president had that happened a few years later. A shop floor employee ended his 25-year career when he told his supervisor that he was going home and getting my shotgun, and I'm going to show you how fucking serious I am. He then proceeded to leave, at which point the police were called, and when he showed back up, he was arrested. And yeah, he had his loaded shotgun in the car. What was he so pissed about? That mandatory overtime coincided with the opening day of fishing season, and he wasn't allowed to use PTO to go fishing. Well, he missed 6 opening days of fishing season for that one, because that's how long he spent in prison. Kind of the same situation. We had this big telecommunication pole outside of our plant, probably 200 feet tall. Anyways, some dude at lunchtime, in the break room, in front of literally everybody, was talking about his new rifle. And how he was going to climb that pole and start picking people off. Within minutes the police were called and he was escorted off to jail. Really wild shit looking back. Former co-worker used to work for municipal government. He went on a sexist tirade against a co-op student who was the daughter of an elected representative. Terminated with cause within an hour. The best part of the story is how I imagine the idiot just decided that proved him right and that women are evil and keep ruining his life, haha. Pretty much everyone who is like that has some claim that they get punished for nothing, then you ask them what the story is and it's always, so I was being a massive asshole in public and embarrassing my employer.